What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of We Are One, You Are Two, your video game and PlayStation podcast. I am your host, Rob Fanzo, as always, joined once again by Mr. Rocket League aficionado himself, Matt Rhodes.
Hello, something witty.
So, Matt, we made it to, we made it to 10 episodes.
10 episodes? What?
I know. If you want another 10 or another 100, maybe you can remember that you can find us on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube every week by Sunday at 9 p.m. Earlier some weeks, later some. Just depends on how crazy our lives are that week and our audio man, Dave. But we try to be consistent. And so, Matt, we've got a great show lined up for listeners this week. Today we're going to talk about how little there actually is in gaming news, discuss a little bit of PSVR because I took the dive, discuss our topic of the day, talk about some trophies, and look at the PS drop for the week. But first, before I forget, some Biff stuff. If you choose to subscribe to Patreon and support us, you're not only going to have access to exclusive posts I'm going to start putting on there, but also an exclusive show I'm going to put together. Matt doesn't even know about this. It's called Out of My Pocket. So it's going to be me playing games you're not sure whether or not you want to buy or just want to watch a playthrough of. So it'll be a review and or of a playthrough purely dedicated to Patreon subs, which means you get it first and you get it only. So if you want to check that out, if there's a game that you've been thinking of, like, I don't know if I want to play this or not. I don't even know if I want to buy this, but I would rather pay someone to play it or to watch it or to tell me how terrible it is. Head over there and subscribe for more details. You also get exclusive access to our Let's Plays. And Matt and I are actually working out details for another one here soon. I know we keep saying that, but we really are.
For sure.
So moving on, Matt.
Yes.
As always.
Yes.
What have we been playing?
Not much.
No?
Two different things. Rocket League,
you didn't get your nap today?
Rocket League. And Monster Hunter World. Yeah, if I would have played Monster Hunter World instead of Rocket League, I probably would have had a nap, but...
So I'm guessing you did not.
I did not. I didn't play Monster Hunter World today, but I will after this, I'm sure.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, right now it's just Rocket League. So, or at least just today, at least. But... no, I'll save it for the topic of conversation.
Oh, all right. Sounds good. Little teaser there. If I can talk about what I've been playing, I finished Pinstripe, which was amazing.
Yeah.
I think that's actually what's going to be, just a little spoiler here, that's actually going to be what the first Out of My Pocket is. So if you don't know what Pinstripe is, and if you do know what it is, you want to check it out, and you're interested in, you're not sure whether it's something you want to buy or even play, and you'd rather just watch someone review it and play through it and talk about it, I'm going to try and make that in such a way that it's worth $1 or $2. And of course, if you actually donate more than that, I'll pick the game. I'll pick your game. I'll basically play your game for you. But I finished Pinstripe. And then, of course, I played Monster Hunter World with you. And actually, a few minutes before we got on here, I was messing around with Deadbolt some more. I'm still addicted to that. Mainly because I'm 4 hours into it. And I keep dying repeatedly, so I just want to get through it. And then I did finally take the plunge and got myself a PSVR.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
He has money, folks.
No, I had a lot of gift cards.
Yeah. He has gift cards, folks.
I mean, literally, Olivia.
Had gift cards.
Had is the key. One of them came from Olivia's phone. The other one came from when GameStop had that ridiculous deal last year where, you could buy Plants vs. Zombie and trade it in for more than it was actually worth. So I conned the system there a little bit. And then the other one was from good old Discover, those cashback rewards. Thank you, Discover.
There you go.
There's a free plug for Discover.
Right? Ugh,
They can pay me on the later end when they discover
I've got
this
so much
podcast.
cashback bonus. I can I will be able to buy a PlayStation 5 when it comes out.
You should just get a VR, and then we can do multiplayer in VR. Get motion sick together.
Yeah.
I played Starblood Arena because that was a free one on PS Plus a couple months ago. So I thought I'd try it. I was going through the tutorial totally fine, and the guy's like, if you want, you can do a barrel roll. And I was like, oh, sweet, a barrel roll. I'll do that. No.
Barrel.
Yeah, I was sick for like 15 minutes after I took the headset off. I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Yep. That's why I didn't buy it, because that's what happened to me when I was testing it, and I was just like, nah, there's no way. The last thing I want to do is throw up while I'm playing video games. I don't want to have to like have a wastebasket nearby just in case, you know?
Well, the wastebasket would be useless because since that thing's strapped to your head, you probably wouldn't be able to find it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like, where's the... Oh, God, where is it?
I set down the remote.
See, that's what they should do. The developers should do. They should just be able to recognize your wastebasket. So whenever you looked down, it was always there in case you got motion sick, so you could just puke right into it.
That would be amazing.
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, that's what we've been playing. So this is PS-N, PlayStation-News. This is actually a little bit different than what we've done in the past. Well, it was supposed to be different this week. I decided that, Matt, sometimes there's just 15 items, there's 16 items, there's 13. Honestly, some of them I don't care about. I know our audience of 5 probably doesn't care either. And so what I thought we could do is trim it down to the top 5 news stories.
Oh, 5.
Whether they're PlayStation or not related. Now, I was super pumped about doing that this week. And then I went on today and realized that there was very little news this week. And so I actually struggled to get 5. And this is Thursday we're recording this. Now, I will throw in just as a bonus here that right before we got started, I did see that Nintendo Switch tripled its PS4's first year sales in Japan. And so that's not a surprise. They love handheld stuff over there. And so I'm not even shocked that it sold 3.8 million units, right, in its first year.
Yeah.
So that's your bonus news because that I saw right before we started. But item number 1, I also read up more on this today. I don't know if you've been following this, but the more recent conversation about violence in video games.
Oh, yeah.
When Trump said, I hear more and more people saying the level of violence in video games is really shaping young people's thoughts. And then you go further a step, and that's the movies. You see these movies, and they're so violent, and yet a kid is able to see the movie if sex isn't involved, but killing is involved, and maybe they have to put a rating system for that, end quote. He met behind closed doors with video game execs today, and he made sure he brought in their strongest and staunchest opposers. And to talk about how we can curb violence in video games, because that's what leads to gun violence in America. Now,
oh, crap.
I think the most common argument I've seen for this is there are video games everywhere, and there's not gun violence nearly as bad everywhere, right?
Exactly.
And, we're not a political show, but I just find that interesting that we're going down that route. Reminds me of when Columbine happened. How many years ago, and they blamed video games, Marilyn Manson, and Eminem, right, among other things. So,
not the fact that these kids had access to all these weapons, because
right, and
gun control. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's never gun control. That's never the issue. You know what I mean?
No,
the NRA and the gun lobby is just throwing money at all these problems as soon as they come up.
Yeah, and I respect that people want to have guns. I don't really care. I personally don't mind the idea of raising the age limit to 21. I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But
you can get drunk. You can't get drunk, but you can kill someone.
Right.
At 18. How does that make sense?
Yeah, I know you can smoke cigarettes and all that other crap, but not to get overly political with that, but I do find it just interesting that he had a closed door meeting about that today.
Yeah. The other thing that's kind of funny to me, as far as because you mentioned movies or whatever, if you look at different countries, most of their stuff, all of our stuff, as far as our rating, sex is top, right?
Yes.
If you look at other countries, it's violence. Anything that has violence on it almost immediately gets an R rating. Yet here, it can be PG-13. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how other countries deal with that kind of thing. They see the violence in movies as more of a big deal to younger people, therefore making it harder for younger people to see those kind of things. Whereas over here, we're focused more on was there a nipple shown?
And maybe that's the key. Is maybe we get rid of or raise the numbers, like I said. Maybe that's the key, right?
Right.
All right. Item number 2. I wanted to put this one in because I thought it was really cool, and you know how much I tout about this game and talk about it. But apparently, there was an interview with Nier Automata directors, and they were shocked. They had hoped to sell 1 million units. They didn't expect to sell over 2 million as the game did, so they were glad about success, and that's definitely called for more from that universe. But what I thought was most interesting is they said that 1 year later, they have one surprise left, and that's that there's a very tragic or unpleasant secret in the game that no one has discovered yet.
Ooh.
And so I really want to know what that is, because I mean, it has 26 different endings. Everybody's that is really hardcore about it. I went through and discovered all those and got all those, and I've played some of the DLC, so I don't know what that last secret is, but I'd be very interested to find out.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I wonder. I mean, what if it's one of those things where they just don't tell anybody, and it's like years before people actually figure out what the heck it is? Usually
that's what happens, and what happens is usually people go through on like the PC version and they'll data mine, they'll go through the game's code, and usually that works. But there have been games, I was just reading something, I can't remember what it was, where they talked about how one of the games did a really good job a couple years ago. Somebody did a really good job of hiding that source code, and so they didn't find it. And if you think about like GTA 5, there was allusions to stuff for years that nobody knew what was going on with that, like the UFO stuff and things like that. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Speaking of PlayStation exclusives, Horizon Zero Dawn producer Samrat Sharma has moved on over to Ubisoft Toronto to help on an unannounced game. Ubisoft Toronto is responsible typically for Far Cry, Watch Dogs, things like that. And so along with that, Horizon Zero Dawn also released over on the PlayStation blog one of those cool info charts to show year one, since it just turned a year old last week. What the most fired weapons were, how many shards were collected. So you can go over to the PS blog to check that out. I looked at it. It's pretty cool. Apparently, I can't remember which animal it was, but it was responsible for over 20 million player deaths. And so it was clearly the most violent, most difficult one to take down.
The sawtooth.
Yeah, that was it, the sawtooth. So I just thought I just like those little graphic charts. They're kind of cool to look at and kind of neat the way they lay them out. Number 4. I feel like we talk about this every week now, but it's because it keeps happening. Monster Hunter World has now sold through 7.5 million copies. Can anything slow it down? That's ridiculous. It hasn't even released on PC yet.
That's nuts. The fact that it hasn't released on PC yet is just absolutely absurd.
I don't think anything's going to slow it down. It's going to hit 10 million, which is amazing because that's like Battlefront numbers.
Yeah, it really is. It's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I can't stop playing it. And I don't even like those grindy type things all the time, I like progress, and I can't wait to finish the story and just continue grinding for loot.
I was about to say, we're like 3 missions away from it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I know we are. I looked it up the other day. Yeah, we're like 3 or 4 away, and I thought to myself, am I going to stop playing it after this? I was like, no, probably not.
No.
Probably not.
Yeah, I was just watching a video on YouTube about it today, about how it's like the perfect loot system. Sure, there's like all these armor sets that are like, some of them are just, it's a bloated armor list where like, some of them are just useless, but there's enough of an armor list and also weapon list that it keeps you wanting to come back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It keeps, it's pretty much any play style, any kind of fighting game play style is in there to a large extent. Yeah. So whatever, you just have to find the weapon that suits the style that you play in.
Yeah, and honestly, I love the way some of the armor styles look. And there's something, too, because it's so funny. You're 3/4 of the way through the game like we are, and yet you still spend time struggling against creatures. And so when you go back to the lower rank ones, you feel like a badass all of a sudden.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, to go back to those and be like, I missed farming this little item because whatever, or because you're crafting a second one and you didn't realize you would need more of these later. Because right now what I'm doing is I'm trying to craft every insect glaive on the tree.
Wow.
Now I'm like the fully upgraded version, I should say.
Right.
I don't want one of each. That's kind of silly. I want like the fully upgraded version of each tree. so I can kind of pick and choose exactly what I want. But, it's one of those things where, sometimes I have to go back because I have to go like, okay, well, I need this, this, and this. Let me look for an SOS with this cat, with a low rank or a high rank, Tobiachi or whatever, whatever kind of.
Right.
But it's fun. It's keeping me interested, and it's, I've put in over 100 hours already into it. And like you were saying, it's what? Something like 300 maybe to plat it? I wouldn't be surprised if I did that. Yeah. The one thing I don't understand, though, there are these special arena quests or whatever that you have to get 50 of. And it says I only have one of those. So I don't know if that's like a special event, because I remember that Watcher, like the one that was the Watcher. Remember when you had to get like the stuff, the very first Horizon Zero Dawn event
for Aloy, for the
I think
Watcher.
that was like a special arena, right? So it's those that specific arena, because there's two different types of arenas. There's the one that you go into. There's one that you crawl into, and then there's one that you jump into.
Right.
There are actually two. I think the second one, that had the event like that, is how many you have to do to do 50. But if they're not doing those every week, I mean, how long is that going to take? Even if they're doing it once a week, it's going to take you a year to get them.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. That's the perfect way to keep people playing.
No, for sure.
And that's not even about DLC that I've heard, that they may eventually do too, which I've only seen brief mentions of.
That's the one thing I did see. I did see like this snapshot of this monster that I guess is going to be coming soon. I'm just like, what? This thing looks stupid.
If they don't support this game, they're dumb. I mean, at almost 8 million copies.
Good Lord. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah. Fastest selling, and now the best selling, by the way, best selling in Capcom's history, even beat out all the Resident Evils. So
that's nuts.
Last news item on the list, and then I have another bonus I wanted to mention. Rainbow Six Siege, which I bought and never tried. It was like $20, and now I feel like I have to dive into it. It's actually gotten a huge jump in players back on Steam and Twitch, because they have a zombie update, which is like, it's actually like alien technology that turns people into zombies. So I guess they're alien zombies.
Nice.
But they
the
actually
best of both worlds.
Absolutely. They something like 166,000 concurrent players on Steam, which they haven't had like that. And that game's 3 years old. It came out in 2015.
Yeah, right.
And so it really speaks to that idea of games as service, I think, that Ubisoft is going for, which we'll talk about them in a moment, too, because something else was announced. Well, I'll just mention it now real quick. They announced The Division 2 and that they would have more details at E3. They just did a teaser trailer today. That was just the number 2 popped up with that music in the background. And they also said that at the same time they're going to release more content for the original one at the same time. So don't be surprised if at E3 we get a full-length trailer, but then we also get at the end of that trailer and also this now for the original Division, right? Some sort of big update.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And then, the other thing I wanted to mention, because I was speaking of Twitch and numbers before, was that Fortnite officially eclipsed PUBG with streamers, active player base, hours watched, everything. And so PUBG, I think, is officially dethroned, and I think Fortnite is king now, which is amazing, considering where it started on consoles. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for the news. All right, so it's time for the talk. This is a segment where we're talking just about subject of interest for the week or from you, the listener. And since there's only 5 of you, I usually pick them myself. But Matt, I thought about it today. Spring
this is kind of this talk. We're kind of melding 2 segments right now.
We are.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this, and spring is 11 days away.
Yeah. And
it lasts through June 12th or 21st. I can't remember the exact date. I know there's 2 and a 1 in there, I'm pretty sure.
21st.
Thank you. Yeah. Shame on me.
Shame on you for sure.
I thought we could talk about our spring gaming expectations. And so I wanted to talk about all the major games that are coming out. I'm sure there's more that I missed that might be smaller or even VR related, that are coming out between now and June 21st. And so that includes Far Cry 5, Detroit Become Human, A Way Out, Ni no Kuni 2, God of War, and just a small one I wanted to shout out to, Vampire, which was supposed to release in December of last year, I think. So I thought we could talk about what do we expect out of. Let's tackle Far Cry 5. What are our expectations for this?
Oh gosh, this is the one I did the most research on for sure. And this is the thing I was saving for the topic of conversation. I just watched the Amazon Prime video of Far Cry 5 Inside Eden's Gate. Did you hear anything about this?
I saw that it existed. I did not watch it.
Yeah. So basically, it's like I believe Ubisoft did this for The Division. They had like a mini little movie, right, to go with it that they released on Amazon.
Probably.
So it's the same exact kind of a thing. So it's the breakdown is basically, I don't know, these YouTubers are I don't even know what kind of channel they have. It doesn't really go into that. But they get a letter from this kid who said his sister's been captured by Eden's Gate. So they go to investigate, and they themselves, being the idiots that they are, get captured by Eden's Gate, and it's kind of like them uploading this video to the internet and their channel, and kind of like showing the world of what's going on, which I'm sure is going to tie in. It's almost like a 30-minute cutscene, if you think about it. You know what I mean? Because like there's that 30-minute cutscene you can watch or not, and then I'm sure it'll have a little bit of a tie-in to the very beginning of the movie, or of the game rather.
Right.
But
So-
it was very interesting.
So what are you expecting? Are you expecting more Far Cry 4? Are you expecting something new and refreshing?
That's the thing. All I'm hearing, I was just right as we were about to start this, I was watching 8 things you could do in the first hour. I've heard that they've stopped doing the tower system. They've gotten away from, the Assassin's Creed radio tower kind of a thing that you had to do in Far Cry 4. You had to was it 4 or was it 3? I think it was both, right?
Yeah.
Where you had to climb a radio tower and then place these devices or turn them back on, basically. Apparently, they've done away with that completely. And how you open the map is simply by exploring. And as soon as you find something, it just kind of pops up on the map. So basically, what they're doing is they're making this a complete sandbox thing, right? They've turned it completely into a sandbox as far as what they're doing with making you explore the area and making you explore the world that they've built for you, good or bad, right? So that's one of the major tweaks, and I'm super excited for that tweak because as much as I like climbing the little towers or whatever, it does get very
tedious.
Repetitive, very monotonous, very tedious. Yeah, it's it's the same thing over and over. You can only build a tower in so many different ways.
Exactly.
So, and then I also saw a video about the different support people. So originally they announced 3 of them. There was a pilot, a woman who works in a bar. But I think there's 6 or 7 now.
Wow. I didn't know.
Yeah, there's 2 different pilots. There's the one with the crop duster kind of a plane. There's a helicopter person. There's an RPG guy. There's a pyromaniac. There's a sniper. There's of course your dog. And I wonder, and I'll be very disappointed if they don't do this, because if they don't do this, I think it's kind of just saying screw you to the last game and Primal. I hope that you can tame other animals other than a dog.
I think you can. I think
Because
I saw
that was-
something with a bear, maybe.
Yeah, exactly right. There's that snippet of the trailer where this bear is running alongside you, and it seems to have this weird blue collar or scarf or whatever around its neck.
Right.
So clearly it's probably part of you, which is, pretty awesome. So, and that's always been a fun thing for me, is just kind of running around tracking down all these, specific animals and just kind of coaxing them to your side, basically. But yeah, so they've upped, from what I've seen as far as the videos, they've kind of upped the ante on support staff.
That's
And
kind
the
of
one thing
cool.
that's kind of good, I don't know. Well, it's not good, but the one thing that everyone's happy about is the co-op and the missions with that. But the one bad thing that I've heard is the people that join into the other person's story do not get credit for that mission.
So you're basically playing it twice if you do co-op.
Right. So that basically stops us from playing it together because it's only one person getting the progress.
Is that the only thing, though?
What do you mean?
Well, let's be honest. Our schedules do not align so well all the time.
Oh, well, that's true, too. But
I was just joking.
yeah, I mean, especially, you know how much I play Far Cry games.
Oh, yeah. You digest them like nobody's business.
Yeah. They're fun. I like it. I like the kind of, I do enjoy some of them, the monotony of collecting things and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see the tweaks they've made, and I'll finish watching that first, the 8 things you can do in the first hour once we're done here. But
yeah, I gotta say for me, one thing I don't think you touched on that I'm kind of excited about or curious about is the map mode and the map editor mode, because from what I read is you can create your own maps. They're co-op or single player or anything like that. And what I also really enjoy about it is that 2 things. One, your experience and some of the items you collect will carry over into the campaign. And so you can collect money, items, weapons, vehicles, everything, and that will carry over into the campaign that you would normally earn in the campaign. And so there's reason to go visit the arcade mode. It's other people's levels, which people can do some cool stuff with that. What I like about it too, though, that I read, is you can take assets from other Ubisoft games. So you could have Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, you could have Watch Dogs, you could create a map using those assets, blending them together to make your own level.
Wow, where'd you find all this?
Their actual website, ubisoft.com. It talks about under the news section.
The one little thing I saw, and maybe this was just an old video, was the fact that they had mentioned map editor in the very beginning, but had not said anything since.
Yeah. What I read, it was just recently posted. The post-launch content's going to be available in there too. This was published just 2 days ago, March 6th. That's probably why. They have over 7,000 objects you can use. So everything from Far Cry 4 to Far Cry Primal to Black Flag, Unity, Watch Dogs. You can blend all that stuff together into a level.
Wow. That's nuts.
Yeah. And then there's also another... there's a couple other things called the Upside Down, which is a non-violent. I think it's like a non-violent area. There's a bounty hunter level. There's all kinds of goofy stuff. They have a
good old bounty hunter.
Yeah, it's Thursday, so we know I'm tongue-tied.
Yeah, of course.
They have a thing called Beach Brawl, which is a death match map set on a surreal beach, and it looks like clocks and like floating tables everywhere. It kind of looks like something out of Dishonored.
Interesting.
Yeah, like those dream levels you would go when you were talking to the outsider.
Oh, right. So kind of like a Dali kind of a painting-ish.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It looks like very much like a Salvador Dali painting that you're running through fighting. See,
that's the one thing I do enjoy about Far Cry is there's always a drug involved, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of the videos I was watching is like they follow a specific formula and they have not changed. And some people can think that's a bad thing because whatever, but it works. Like the one thing is like they start with a cutscene, they kind of throw you into the world right away, and they give you like this arbitrary mission that's basically like a training mission.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Yeah. You're introduced to the boss like right away.
Yeah, so I'm pretty
the main evil character, and then just kind of thrown into the world.
So I'm pretty excited about that, I would say, overall.
Yeah.
So I think that's the top of our list. The next one, what are our expectations with Detroit Become Human? Because that's a David Cage, right? I never played Beyond, but I played Heavy Rain a lot. Beyond Two Souls. This is his third one. And so it's finally got a release date a couple weeks ago. Right, it's coming out May 25th. What are our expectations with that one? Do you have any expectations? Is there anything you want out of it?
See, that's the thing. I don't know a lot about it. I know, about his games. Obviously, I wasn't into Heavy Rain. I played the demo originally, but I did play Beyond Two Souls, which I really enjoyed.
Okay. You were probably one of the few.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was so adamant on playing it One, because of it was Ellen Page, I believe, right, that voiced the character, and then two, that the fact that I didn't play Heavy Rain.
Okay. Well, Heavy Rain was cool. I mean, both those games rely a lot on choice, right?
Right.
And so this one touts this, I guess, 3 playable characters and more choice than you can ever imagine. Plenty of scenarios and things like that. What I like about it is it's that concept of androids and that question of that I think we see so often. I think Nier Automata tackles this really well. Is what makes a human being, right? And so what makes worth saving an android or killing an android? Is it the same thing? Because they're obviously looking for independence and revolution and self-awareness, and I do wonder. I'm sure that's probably what it'll be with, is that wrestling of, when androids become self-aware and realize who and what they are they now capable of human beings because they're capable of thought in such a way that what distinguishes them from us other than maybe a soul, right? And if the soul is contained in thought, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get philosophical, but I do think that that's probably where we'll see that go. I'm excited about that in the sense of I really enjoy that, like Ex Machina, that film.
Right.
Came out a couple years ago. Yeah. Loved it. That's the same reason.
Such a good movie.
I know. Nier Automata. That's the same reason I love Blade Runner 2049. I really am fascinated by that android-human blurring of lines.
Sure.
And so I think my only expectation for that is for it to look really pretty, to have really significant story, and to have some cool moments in choice, right? Yeah.
As far as the story, I mean, I feel like there are even human beings that aren't exactly self-aware, so,
Amen. Yeah.
What about those blurred lines?
That is so true.
No, but I am interested to see it too, because I mean, it looks like, even just the trailers, it looks gorgeous, and it does, and it always is. That's like, I feel like that's their MO, is push the game's engine as far as it can with the graphics, and then just have this amazing story to go with it.
Yeah, and so I'm pumped about that. The next one on the list is A Way Out, and most people know that from the Game Awards when they were interviewing the director, right? And he was like, "F the Oscars," this is where it's at. And so most people probably know the game from him. I can't remember his name at the moment, and I apologize, but he was shouting about that at the Game Awards. I'll have to look his name up. But that's a co-op game, right? Coming out not too far off, actually.
Sorry, what was the game? What was the game?
A Way Out.
Oh, A Way Out.
A Way Out. March 23rd, right? So that's actually out. By the time this podcast releases, it'll be almost a week away.
Yeah.
And so it's a co-op adventure, right? It's designed to be played with another person.
Yes.
Sitting next to you. Joseph Fares, that was his name, the game's director. He's the one who yelled F the Oscars at DICE Awards. But I'm kind of excited to see what that one's like, because it's a good co-op game and a puzzle game, and it reminds me of, I think, Brothers on the PS3, where you controlled the two brothers who were trying to find a cure for their mother's illness.
Huh.
And I didn't play that one myself. I actually watched Olivia play through that one, but she loved it. And so I think this would be up her alley.
Oh, that was one of those free games, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have it, but I've never played it.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of excited to see how that one turns out. But that's really all I have to say, is I'm just kind of pumped about that one. It looks, as a whole, like a good co-op game, a good sit down with your best friend or your significant other and just kind of solve puzzles and enjoy some cinematic experiences of these two brothers who, get out of prison and want to, I guess, start over.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Ni no Kuni 2. Also out very, very soon. Now, you never played the first one, correct?
Correct.
And by the time we release this podcast, it will also be about a week away, March 23rd. I did play the first one. That was, was it really in 2011? Goodness, it was. Wow. I feel really, feel really
Old.
ashamed that I never finished it. And old, yeah. I really, it was one of those games that caught me from the very beginning because the very, very beginning, your character suffers the loss of his mother.
Sure.
And so he goes on this magical quest to try to bring her back to life to this he's told he can if he goes to this kingdom of Ni no Kuni and helps them there, that he can solve it. And so I never finished it. I'm sorry I didn't. It was an amazing game. I just ran out of time.
Yeah.
It's a great RPG. It's an action RPG, right? So it's not turn-based. At least I don't recall it being turn-based. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it was. And it was just a lot of fun. And the second one looks amazing. I love the art style. I hope to go back and play the first one eventually and see what we can do, about this one. But this will be on my backlog for the summer.
Yeah.
I'll get to it over the summer. But for now, I'll hold off. But I am super pumped about that one. And I'm sorry I don't have much more to say about it. I just super pumped for it. And it's a shame that I never finished the first one. I feel guilty now. The last one, we may also, I don't know how much we have to say about this. This is the first, I'll say this much. I think Kratos is useless as a character. However, this God of War, April 20th, is the first one that I would consider picking up and playing.
Ooh, huh.
I like the change in perspective. I like the change in the fact he has feelings. He has a son. It looks like he cares. It looks like he's not just an angry guy that wants to slay gods. Yeah. And I played a little bit, I think, of God of War 3, and I just couldn't get into it. And so my expectation is this will be the one that, kind of like Persona 5 did, kind of like Nier Automata did, this is the one that they finally figure out how to appeal to the audience they haven't already pulled in.
Well, it's a button masher, right? There's a lot of timed events.
Yes.
There's a lot of mashing of buttons just to kill the things, But yeah, I think you're right. It kind of comes down to his character. He's just kind of angry at the gods. He wants vengeance, right?
And he's not very interesting.
Right. Exactly.
But I do think this will be the one.
You think about like other, something like a button masher, I guess, not exactly a button masher, but you think of kind of like the Dark Knight series, but like that's an interesting character. Like everyone loves Batman. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the Arkham Asylum games or Arkham games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can mash the buttons repeatedly. You can just mash square if you really want to, and most of the time you can get away with it. However, yeah, there is, and that's the same thing with God of War, right? You can mash the buttons and get away with it. There is a trick to combos. It's the same thing with Nier Automata. Nier Automata's button. But there's something about those characters, at least, that make you care.
Right, exactly.
And so I can forgive the button. And let's be honest, gameplay, button combinations, button schemes, there's a finite amount of those, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I do expect this to be the one that kind of Ni no Kuni 2, where I think the first one sold almost 2 million. I think that one will double this time because people have, it has a little bit more of a cult following.
Sure.
I do think God of War, I don't know I know it's sold much more than that. I guarantee this is the one, though, that kind of pulls people in like me who have just been, well, he's so angry and I don't want to see that. Plus, the change in perspective is that behind the shoulder is so much more appealing most of the time. And so I think that will help with it as well. Now, most people aren't going to know what this is, right? But it is an upcoming action role-playing game. It's actually made by Dot Noid Entertainment, which is actually, or Don't Nod Entertainment, which published, I thought they made something else that I played recently, but anyway, that's beside the point. That is one that looks really cool to me. It's the same studio that did Life is Strange, which I loved Life is Strange. But what I'm super pumped about it is it's a vampire game. And it's after it's in 1918 London. The Spanish flu is spreading rapidly. And you have all these vampires, different societies that are fighting for power. And they've kind of moved into I want to say like the mainstream mindset, right? And so you play as a doctor turned into a vampire, and you're conflicted to whether you want to kill throughout the game or if you want to avoid. And so you can actually continue to feed your character without killing anyone. And it's like a semi-open world. And it just sounds, you don't get too many vampire games. Like Code Vein is coming out later this year by the same, and it looks very Dark Souls-like. But this just looks like a lot of fun. There are different vampire factions that you come across. So I'm kind of excited to see how this one turns out.
Yeah.
And that comes out, what did I say? I think it's June 5th. And so
June 5th, yeah.
That's got a summer release.
Now it says June 5th, 2018.
Yeah. Now, we'll see about that because it also said December 2017. It also said, I think at one point, March. And so it quietly keeps getting pushed back. And so I'm a little nervous. But that would be perfect because June 5th, summer, it's got nothing to compete with. And if people are thirsty for something different, right?
Oh, look at those choice of words, folks.
Yeah.
Thirsty for something different.
Gosh, I'm just so good.
Such a wordsmith. He just slips them right in there.
I do. I don't even know I do it. The other thing I got to say, though, is you are having Detroit Become Human release, a week before that, week and a half before that? And so if that becomes a big thing...
which it probably should.
It should. And so if we had to rank these in terms of what has the biggest impact this year, what do we rank?
Oh, gosh. Biggest impact?
Let's start with number 5. Let's work our way up. I'd say number 5, the least amount of impact is going to be Vampire. Because no one seems excited about that except me.
Yeah. I'd say Way Out is probably number 2.
Okay, so like...
Or number 4. Number 4, sorry. Number 4.
Yeah, least amount of... I would agree.
And then, see, for me, it's a toss-up between Ni no Kuni and God of War. Because God of War is such a franchise game. And Ni no Kuni is such a huge thing over in Japan, right?
Well, yeah. So 1 second, 1, 2, 3. We can't count. There's 6 games, so 6 would be Vampire. 5 would be A Way Out. 4
You
was
said 5. I was just going.
I know.
Following blindly.
Once again, I forgot Vampire somehow. When I was counting. So that says it's 6. It came
Way Out 5.
Yeah. 4, I'd say
probably Ni no Kuni 4.
Yeah.
Then
I'm going to say Detroit Become Humans number 3. I'm going to say that Far Cry and God of War battle it out.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Honestly, I think I give it to Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
I think there's huge hype around that.
It's just, it's the 5th game in that series. God of War will be what, the 4th one, right?
Well, there was God of War 1, 2, and 3, and then there was a prequel, I believe, and then there...
Right.
Yeah.
So this is like almost the 5th as well.
I think this might be the 5th one, too, but...
when you've made 5 games, there's enough followers, of course.
Yeah.
But I think Far Cry ekes them out.
Ugh. Yeah,
Such a powerhouse.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what kind of pushes it ahead of everything.
Agreed. So this is This Day in Gaming History, and actually I thought this is rather appropriate. I wonder if they did this on purpose. This day, 2 years ago, 2016, The Division released.
Oh,
and now you dropped the Division 2 trailer, right?
Oh, those sneaky Pete's.
Sneaky Pete's. So 2016, also This Day in Gaming History, 2011. I thought these were notable. Dragon Age 2 comes out. MLB The Show 11, the show comes out. And apparently a game that no longer gets made, MLB 2K 11 came out. I think that might have been one of the last years for it, to be honest.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. 2006, I wanted to throw this on there because I just love the name of it. Disney's Winnie the Pooh's Rumbly Tumbly Adventure came out on GameCube.
Rumbly Tumbly.
Mafia, the original Mafia, came out on Xbox.
Nice. In 2004, yeah.
Yeah. And then in 2002, Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty came out on the PS2.
Ah!
So.
Oh, Metal Gear.
Mm-hmm. So
what have you done?
Pretty good week, actually, in gaming this week. With some of those.
Pretty crazy.
Over the years. Winnie the Pooh, who doesn't remember that?
Oh, I can remember the many nights I've spent on the Rumbly Tumbly Adventure of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Sometimes my belly rumbly tumblies, but that's usually after eating Taco Bell.
I'm sure your wife loves that.
Yeah. Well, it's usually her fault we ate the Taco Bell.
So she knows. She got herself into it then.
Yeah, exactly. All right. That was just quick this day in gaming history. Let's talk. See you soon. So this is a live list of upcoming games released this past week on the PS blog. Matt, there's quite a few. We read it for you because we know you're too lazy. And so here's what we're going to read off this week.
He's not talking about you, the listeners. He's talking about me.
Yeah, I'm talking about Matt mostly. I'm not going to go through all of these because some of them I think aren't worth mentioning. No offense to them. I'll try and mention them though. I may just read the description. But first, since I bought a PSVR, I'll start with that one. It's out digital today, March 8th. Audio Beats. It's a tribute to classic rhythm games. If you're a traditional rhythm game player seeking great beats and challenges, Audio Beats is the answer. Now that one got 3 sentences. I read it very quickly, but it got 3 sentences. So they're stepping up with PSVR. Speaking of which, Bravo Team, also digital and retail on PSVR. Bravo Team is set in a fictional modern-day Eastern European city. When your escort mission goes wrong, a country threatens to tear itself apart, and your team along with it. So that did not have high reviews in the PlayStation Store when I looked at it the other day, so I'm a little concerned. DJ Max Respect, PS4 digital. Legendary. This is the week of rhythm games. Legendary rhythm action game finally arrives on PS4. Enjoy all the classic DJ Max songs and brand new exclusive songs with DJ Max Respect.
Cool.
This one I really like. You ever see what was that movie with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder? The Philip K. Dick novel, Scanner Darkly.
Okay, yeah.
This art cover looks like it. It's called Fear Effect Sedna. And Fear Effect, it's been a long time since they released one of these. Thrilling action and stealth gameplay enhanced by the Fear system. An exciting story on ultra stylish cutscenes. Harness your team's dynamic abilities to tackle enemies and puzzles like never before. And so that one looks kind of cool. That's out digital this week. Final Fantasy 15, the Royal Edition, or the Royale Edition.
I don't even think you need to read the description. Everyone knows what that is.
Yeah, it's PS4 retail. I mean, it's literally the same RPG with new content, new features. Yay, Final Fantasy 15. Frantics is out on PS4 digital.
I like the art on this one.
Yeah, isn't it awesome? The little fox and guys. Arcade-style fun and mad minicap games are all the rage in Frantics, where you and up to 3 friends have to face off in a variety of challenges. That might be cool co-op.
Yeah.
All right.
It kind of looks like, just from the art, like you're going to have to like stack things.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if it's like, another puzzle game. Well, at least it's not a rhythm game.
Jenga kind of a thing.
This one's been out for a while, but it's finally coming to retail. Life is Strange Before the Storm, which, oh, goodness, when I played Life is Strange, I can't wait to get into this. I'm going to eventually get to Before the Storm. I'm not going to read the description. If you don't know what Life is Strange is or what Life is Strange Before the Storm is, you really need to go check it out.
Get your life together.
Yeah. You play as 16-year-old Chloe Price, who forms an unlikely friendship with Rachel Amber, a beautiful and popular girl destined for success, and that's just an amazing game. All of those. Midnight Deluxe is PS4, PS Vita, Long Live Vita, and digital. Now, I love this art. Are you looking at this art, right?
Yeah,
this little
I do too.
cube. Yeah. It says, in this golf-like game with a perpetual darkness setting, your task is to guide a little square-shaped fairy named Midnight. What do they mean by a golf-like game? I want to know.
Maybe you tee off every once in a while. You hit them.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't understand this golf-like game because that has nothing to do with the art.
No.
I'm going to have to look it up. I want to look up that one, Midnight Deluxe, and see the trailer for it.
Yeah, I'm really curious to know. Also out this week, a very original title by the name of North. on PS4, PS Vita again in digital.
This is actually a 4-part series, soon to be followed by East, West, and South.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. And actually they're gonna have half iterations called Northeast, Southeast, Northwest, and Southwest.
Yeah, that's more of like the DLC, but yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. You're right. It was the DLC. I forgot about it. And then they're gonna have an expansion pack called the Compass. Oh, poor guys. It's probably an amazing game and we're trashing it.
Right.
In North, you play as a man who applies for asylum in a city filled with strange creatures and strange customs. Yep, that sounds amazing. Was that tongue-in-cheek enough? I think so. I'm going to have to look that one up, though, just because I need to know now. Matt, why don't you pronounce this next one?
All right, let me go back here. One-eyed...
PS4.
Kutkh.
That's out tomorrow, Friday. It's a Friday release, March 9th. PS4, PSV, Vita, digital. A single traveler on his way home crashes on a mysterious planet. To continue his journey, he'll have to get to the ninth heaven, deceive the sun and the moon, and steal their space boats. What?
I mean, if you're going to steal a space boat, you should definitely steal it from the sun or the moon, because they have the best space boats.
They do. Wasn't that a level in Wolfenstein New Colossus? All right.
What, ninth heaven?
No, I was thinking space boats.
I don't know, maybe.
I was just joking. Slight spoilers. Anyway, Ranji is on PSVR digital. At least three VR games this week. Solve complex puzzles, explore hidden temples, reconstruct ancient statues, escape deadly platforms, and revel in the joy of the flight as you recover the life force of the music giants and restore rhythm to the world. Another freaking rhythm game.
That kind of sounds cool. I feel like, and just from the artwork, it kind of looks like Journey kind of ish.
Yes.
And I always loved the music in those games, so I feel like that actually might be a decent one if you're trying to recover like pieces of like music. And like, you know, once you complete the world, it like re-goes. Like, you know, like maybe it was like with the like flower where like once you collect it off, it would kind of like shoot you around and like play the little tune or whatever.
Yeah, and in VR, that might be really cool. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Maybe the guy we talked about last week in our community shout out, Sofa of Adam. Remember Sofa Dom?
Yeah.
Maybe he can. I'll have to connect with him and see if he's got. He's a member of our community. If you missed last week's episode, that we shouted out to, that he does some really cool stuff on YouTube with a lot of VR stuff, and so him and I are going to tag up at some point and do some cool VR stuff as well. But yeah, go check him out at his YouTube channel. It's on last week's podcast episode. Finally, last couple here. Root Double, I'm sorry. Before Crime, After Days, Extend Edition. Does that not sound like that was translated from Japanese? Probably.
I love how it's Extend Edition, not Extended.
Oh, yeah, they're always like this. That's how I know it's Japanese. PS Vita digital out today. The year is 2030. Business as usual in the isolated research city of Rakume. That is until several explosions suddenly go off in the nuclear research facility known as Labo. The city sends in Sirius, an elite rescue squad, to deal with the situation. And that elite rescue squad looks like a 12-year-old girl in a school uniform.
Hey, man.
Whatever.
Don't you knock their elite rescue squad. You know?
I know, right? For shame.
How dare you?
Scribblenauts Showdown, PS4 digital retail. It's Scribblenauts party style, so this is kind of cool. Use your imagination, go head to head in the ultimate multiplayer showdown. That looks kind of interesting from what I
wonder
can
how
tell.
that works though without, you know, like how are you going to draw stuff, right? Because that's the whole point of Scribblenauts is on the DS, isn't it? Like you actually draw it.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know how that works. That's something to be looking into here.
Yeah, I mean it looks cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not knocking it at all. I'm just curious.
Cool game from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard. I just never got into it. Never checked it out. All right, where was I? Oh yes, I know where I was. TT, Isle of Man, Ride on the Edge. That sounds like a description, actually. PS4 digital retail. For you bikers out there are two types of speed races: the Isle of Man TT and the rest. No other race is as grueling for motorbikes and demanding for the riders. Take up the challenge of the Snail Fail Mountain Course. All 37.73 miles faithfully reproduced with champions and their bikes. That sounds like there's literally one course that you race on. That's absurd. Right? I mean, that's the name of the game. And it certainly implies that. Moving on. It is on sale, though. If you are interested in the PS store, it is 10% off.
Well, what I don't understand is, what does TT stand for?
I don't know. Totally tubular? I have no idea. I don't know. I really don't. I'm sure it's a branded bike, and we have 5 people listen to us, and 3 of them are probably bikers yelling at us right now.
Yeah, of course.
So for shame. All right. Last but not least, Way of the Passive Fist. What an oxymoron. PS4 and digital. A mysterious figure known only as the Wanderer travels across distant planet of Zircon 5, a once prosperous mining colony that is now on the brink of destruction in the face of its dying star. And that completes your PS blog. See you soon for the week.
See you soon.
Bye. So Matt, I looked at the trophies this week. There's nothing really worth highlighting. So we're not going to do what would Matt do for that trophy. That will return in another week. I'm going to move into our community shout out right now. And then we can talk about if there's anything else we want to do before we leave. So our community shout out actually goes to Chase Bethea. I apologize. I should have asked to pronounce your name beforehand. I really apologize about that. But this is our UR2 community shout out for the week. He actually contacted me and we chatted about some music and stuff. He's an awesome guy. Go check out his stuff. You can find him at his website. First name's Chase, last name is BETHEA.com. You can find him on Spotify under the same name, Amazon, Google Play. I found him on SoundCloud. You can find him on Twitter as well. He's everywhere, so if you go to any of those, they'll probably direct you to the rest of them. He's an awesome guy. He's been working in the industry for a couple of years now. He actually did a couple of games on mobile, on phone. He did the music for them. And so if you want really cool 8-bit style music, if you want to check out some soundtracks and stuff like that he's done, feel free to check him out. We really appreciate him contacting me and us chatting. And so I asked him when we started chatting, hey, can I throw you out a little shout out? So go check him out. Go add him on all those. I believe he's even on iTunes. I think I might have stumbled across his stuff. But definitely check him out on Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, SoundCloud, and his website, chasebethea.com. And so we appreciate him jumping in to say hi. And remember, we do want to do these often, every week, really, but we need you to send us your community stuff. So I don't care what you create. I don't care if it's music. I don't care if you do games. I don't care if you do VR content, whatever it is. I just want to shout out to you. As long as you're like us and you're creating stuff, the small guys do need to stick together.
For sure.
So if you have a talent or a labor of love, please feel free to send it in and give me your Twitter, your YouTube link, your website, anything where you self-promote, and I will promote you just for fun.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, is there anything else we wanted to touch on this week?
There's one last thing that I need to get off my chest. And I found out the meaning of TT.
Lay it on me.
And I've realized why they didn't spell it out, because it is really dumb. It is the Tourist Trophy.
Oh, so it's a type of race, the Tourist Trophy Isle of Man.
And this is actual, I'm looking at the actual, a Wikipedia. This is an actual event.
Yeah, I figured it was.
Yeah, this is an actual event on the Isle of Man, which I don't know where that is. It's like in between. Looks like in between Great Britain and Ireland.
Okay. Well, there you go. We're not just a podcast about video games, but we inform you about motorcycles and racing and
That's right, folks.
All that good stuff. So, we're here for you. We care.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to teach you. I'm a teacher by day, so I'm going to teach you a little bit every time we come on this podcast, even if it's just about TT.
Yeah.
We'll teach you.
You just got to learn about TT.
Yeah, we're going to teach you about the TT and the things your parents don't want to teach you about TT.
That's right. Dave's gonna love that. There was the weekly ambulance that went by.
Surprise, Dave, for you.
Surprise, surprise.
All right,
There it
ladies and
was.
gentlemen.
We found it.
If you
I don't
like
think we had
this-
one last week, but it's
No,
back.
we didn't. I don't think he mentioned it in our email, our weekly, business email, but
Yeah.
he will for sure this week.
Oh, I'm sure. That was pretty loud. It definitely went right by the street that my window looks out to.
Dave, don't you dare edit any of this. This is good material.
It definitely is.
If you do, I'm going to call you out every week until you leave your name in it.
That's right.
All right. So if you enjoyed this and you want to support us on Patreon, if you want to, come by and just rate us on iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you want to be listening to us, we appreciate it. Share it with your friends who like video games. Share it with your friends who like TTs. And I can't say that on straight face. And we'll be happy to
Or
to
even the
talk
friends that don't like the TTs.
No, that's right. And we'll be happy to do this every week for you. Until
Absolutely.
Until then, do check out our Patreon. Come by, drop $1. Honestly, it'll keep the mics on. It'll help me do that until. Honestly, no one else is going to play North for you. I will.
That's right.
It's $2.99. If you give me $2, you don't have to worry about playing the game. You don't have. And I saved you 99 cents. Give me $1.
That's right.
And I saved you 99 cents.
Exactly.
'Cause you get access to the episode, and you know what? For $1, I will play North. If I get $1 on Patreon this week, I will play North, and I will upload that play. And gosh, it looks terrible. So if you really want that, please do it. All right.
Make us play terrible games, please.
Yes.
That's what we want.
That's what we want. Because I don't have enough time for the good ones. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Until next time, game on.
Game on. Outro music.
Every
Outro
week.
music. Outro music for this week.
You can't handle it.
I think you should just put the siren behind that. The That's the outro music. Every week. Dave's gonna love that. There was the weekly ambulance that went by.